The Human Target, issue number 12. We have reached the finale, folks. My god, has this been a fun ride. One of my favorite journeys into comic books in a very long time. This is what I love about the art form and the idea of comic books. You can just take a simple character, put it into a big universe, and tell an organic story that feels like it's homaging all this stuff while still being truly original. It does it all, folks. This book has been incredible. Saying goodbye is tough. And what's even more tough about a book like this ending is that when you have Tom King, a writer who is infamous for the finale of his arcs or his stories, you can feel like when something is hitting or when something is missing. Now, there's a lot to dive into with this finale. I say a lot. There's not much, but there's something to explore here that I do enjoy. I can honestly 100% see this being a very controversial finale where it's like, oh, this is how we're ending it. It kind of just like whimpers out a little, but I think that's the whole point of this book, where the entire time we're reading it, Christopher has acknowledged that he's only got 12 days. Like the whole time, that is what he's acknowledged about himself and his state of mind. So seeing him react to that, it makes sense. The end of issue 11, we found out that it was in fact Ice and Fire playing the part of the femme fatales trying to kill Lex, giving it to Christopher, and she confesses her love to him, and we kind of just leave it at that, not knowing what's coming next. So when we start off this book, we open it up, and Christopher is already dead. He's lying in bed, and we're getting like narration, or not even narration, it's like a conversation from a previous time between Christopher and Ice. We don't say when it is, but it's kind of like the time we know when it's going to be, right? But he's dead in bed. She walks into the room, breaks the door handle off, sees that he has passed away, lying in bed. No pulse, can't bring him back to life. She starts crying, and then she finds a note on the side of the dresser that says, I love you too, because of course we ended their conversation in the last issue when she confessed her love to him. It's a nice moment. Again, I feel like 12 issues, and I don't have to say that Greg Smallwood's art is transcendent and beautiful in every single way. It's one of the most gorgeous looking books out there. It's so nice. And just to see her have like that blatant moment of like, I don't know what else I'm doing. Like, this is it. It's kind of nice. So he's dead. He's dead. He's dead, and there's nothing more we can do about it. Christopher is dead. And you're like, okay, what's the rest of this book going to be? Because that was only a couple pages. Well, it has been about Ice the whole time. Like, that is like the other thing about like Tom King's works like this. When you look at Mr. Miracle and Strange Adventures, it always comes down to like the relationship between the male lead and the female lead. And he loves writing a strong female character. And Ice is a little bit different than his other female leads. There's something about her that's just a little bit more interesting to dig into, not one-dimensional. Maybe it's because she's not playing a wife. She's playing a more vulnerable character in a world. And I guess that is a story and a character that works for King, because he is allowing himself to take all of like the bullshit that this character has been wrapped up with and morph it into something that fits his story without changing the dynamic of the character. So we see in day 12, Christopher has passed away. We go to day 16, where Ice is in Luigi's pizza shop, and he's like, I think I'm going to like sell the place and close it down. Christopher left me a lot of money. I think I'd like to travel. And they have a nice little back and forth, and he's just like, lady, you don't get involved with dangerous men. You don't fall in love with them either. There's a lot of stuff out there in this world to see. You got to know what it is, right? And she's going to get something from him, which I'm assuming is going to be like the ashes of Christopher, because they don't say like what it's going to be. Kind of nice. It's kind of nice. So she gets like the ashes. They're in like one of his favorite bottles, and it's still day 16. She goes to see Fire. They're kind of like having a moment like, did we do the right thing? You see Ice kind of has like a breakdown, like, some superhero I am. I'm crying. I killed a guy. This sucks. I hate all of this. But Fire, being the level-headed, more like femme fatale one, is just kind of like, it's all right. You did the right thing. This is what's bound to happen. You gave him what he wanted, and that's the best we can do. Kind of cool. It's a nice moment. I was still thinking there was going to be like the Thelma and Louise thing where they're going to like ride off into the sunset together, like, fuck all these heroes, they ruined our lives, we matter. But two close friends admitting like this was a shitty situation we had to be a part of, that's good too. Then we cut to day 22, and Booster is talking to Ice. He's like, yeah, the bagel shop failed. Something weird in the dough is making everybody sick. And as they're talking, Martian Manhunter shows up to talk to Ice, and Booster flies away. So he's like, look, we know Christopher dead. I know you had some connection to him. Because there was like the chance of his involvement being with like the JLI on this, we're opening up an investigation to figure out what his cause of death was and what actually happened to him, since he never really found the answers himself. So given the information I got from his doctor, I'm going to be leading the investigation. And she's like, no, it's okay. I think I'll look into it. And she's like, no, you shouldn't look into it. Like, you are still a suspect in this. But she's like, all right, you want to play that card? Well, fine. I mean, you had an affair with fire during all of this time, and you also, like, trespassed inside Christopher's mind when we came to see you without his permission, so that seems like a big violation of the JLA code. So I think, like, those would make you unfit for this particular duty of doing that kind of stuff, and it just catches Jean off guard, like, what are you talking about? She's like, it's okay. I know him well. I know the team. I'll look into everything going on here. And that's what she does. She just kind of takes control, and she destroys, like, I guess, like, just some, like, technology or something he's trying to build as, like, a station to understand, like, this thing. She crushes it and turns it into ice. And you're like, okay, kind of fun, kind of cute. I like that. She's like, look, I know I did it. I can still cover my tracks this way. Kind of a good end. I like that being where this book's headed for her. That's a good ending for her. We cut to day 37. She is alone on an iceberg floating in the water, just like, you probably would have liked this or something. I don't know. Just a weird guy, but you were cool and I loved you. And then guy shows up and he's like, hey, babe, look, I know we've been through a little bit of a spat here and there, but I'm here for you, baby, now and forever. You're my gal. And she's like, it is nice to see you. Like, I know everything we've been through is kind of complicated and stuff, but I do, for some reason, care about you enough that I do like you. It's kind of cute. And he's like, oh yeah, don't you worry. I know how the world works. The good guy always wins. And they underlined the word guy in the lettering, and she takes the bottle of ashes of Christopher and smashes it upside Guy's head. And you just love it. Because, yeah, that's cathartic. Guy's a little bit of a prick going to do all this stuff, just a manipulative little asshole. I like that she got that. This is more of an ending for Ice than it is for Christopher, and I think that's kind of like the point of what this book was headed down. I guess that also makes sense for, like, the genre we're talking about, where we don't normally see, like, the female lead in, like, a detective story like this truly get, like, their happy ending. And we see that Ice is trying to find hers, which is kind of cool. I do appreciate that. There is something to say about it. It's very interesting. So we cut to day 73. She's still kind of sad and alone. She takes out a bottle. She just starts smelling his ashes, I guess. And you're like, that's kind of interesting. Or it's not even his ashes, because she just smashed them over Guy, and they fly into the water. So I guess she's just drinking a bottle, but it's the same bottle shape, so it's kind of confusing in that aspect, but okay, that's kind of cool. Then we cut back to day 11. Oh, wait, no, I think I know what bottle that is. We'll get back to what I think that bottle is in a minute here. We cut back to day 11 when she says, I love you, and Christopher's like, get up, okay? Just get up. I'm not going to talk to you when you're on your knees. I need you to do something for me. And I can't kill you for that reason. She's like, or you can't kill me because you can't kill me and you need a favor? And it's like, what's the difference, babe? Cute stuff like that. It's a really nice moment, giving Christopher enough closure as a character that we've been following through this book. He talks about, like, his father and, like, how at the end of his father's days, the last thing he wanted was to spend another day with him. And Christopher admits that he's, like, scared and afraid, and he doesn't like what's coming next. And that's, like, a really sweet, powerful moment between the two of them, where he's admitting his faults. So they just embrace each other and watch the sunset. And that's when we see, she said, I love you. He writes the note later when he dies. That is a good place to end his character arc, because that's, again, the other part of this book that I haven't talked about a lot in the reviews, is Christopher seeing himself becoming his father throughout this book and making the mistakes that his father made, or he made to his father. So when his father was dying and he wasn't there to be with his father, he doesn't want to do that with the people he loves. It's subtle. It's Tom King, and it's subtle, and it works fine. They have a nice tender moment like that. So she starts smelling a bottle. There's some green liquid in it. And this is where Christopher's like, I have a favor. You know, if you still got some of that stuff that you used to poison me, if you have any more of it, I got something I'd like you to do. And then we cut to day 110, and we see that Ice is leading the investigation into the death of Christopher Chance, and because of it, she is going to talk to Lex Luthor. And Lex is like, I don't know, it's just like a weird thing going on there. I don't really know what happened to it, but find it weird they're not having like the elongated man or like the Batman talk to me about this investigation. And you see that Ice kind of downplays her situation in this world. She's like, well, I just do what they ask me to, and it seems like a pretty clear and cut case, like exactly what happened here. And that's really who's like, that's why I like someone like you, a person who knows their limitations. That maybe that's why I liked Chance. He was a good guy. Well, then, to the human target, like the other guy, he died for our sins, but at least he didn't get all sanctimonious about it. Kind of cool. And then we just see Luthor takes a drink from his glass, like we saw Chance do at the start of the book, and the final panel ends with Ice smiling. The indication is she killed Lex for Chance, and that's an interesting ending. Okay, I have a lot of feelings about this entire run, and what I'll say first is this ending works for exactly what we set up. It's all about coming full circle for this story. You know, the relationship with Guy, the relationship with Christopher and his father, the relationship between Christopher and Ice, the Fire and Ice relationship, the Lex Luthor of it all. Having all of that come full circle works incredibly well for a book like this. It is strong, it is smart, the artwork is still impeccable and immaculate, it is a gorgeous telling of this story. Is it going to make some people upset that the end of the book just happens to be Ice coping with everything she's been through? A guy she's known for 11 days, which left a bigger impact on her? Is she that broken of a woman that is what her like standards have come to? Yeah. If you want to think about like the history of Ice as a character and the amount of crap she has been through since her conception, this is a pretty interesting use of her where she's like, everyone sees me as like the sweethearted child who can't do any wrong. Well, I tricked all of you except the man I fell in love with, which turned out to be the biggest trick of all. There's something about that I like. It's kind of a cathartic ending where she gets her win in a sad, tragic way. She gets to kill Lex. What's all been about, she gets to fall in love, but she loses the man she loves, but he loved her too. And that's kind of a nice ending for her. You know, the Justice League isn't going to sugarcoat it, and she kind of gets the win above them all too. A different type of female lead winning in a Tom King book than what we normally see. Is it going to stick the landing with every single reader? I don't think that's the case, but to me, this is exactly the ending I expected him to go for, just a little bit different in exactly how he was going to portray it. So there are some strong things in here. She does win the day in a simple way, but it's fine. It does the job well, I gotta say. I do enjoy when this book surprises me. And while this wasn't a surprising issue, I did like everything about it. Very cool. I'm happy with this. I think this wrapped up exactly how it needed to. I am going to be thinking about this book for a while, and I gotta let this ending kind of digest with me for a bit before I really decide how I feel, but I'm very positive on it. I hope other people are positive on it too, because in the end, isn't that what every Tom King book is? It's secretly about the female interest and her connection to the male character in the world she's a part of. He likes that shit, and I get it, dude. It's a way you're selling women as the leads in your books where you don't have to get it oh, look at all this woke agenda going on where you're well, I actually wanted to write about Adam Strange's wife, but if I say that, no one's going to buy the book. So I get it. I get what you're doing here. No one's going to buy an Ice book, but if you make it a human target book, okay. I like it. Strong ending. Strong ending. We all win the day, baby. We all win the day. So, the human target issue number 12, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Hive, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.